All right, everybody. Hello, Louis Beauchamp, Vice President of Marketing here at Final Expense Direct. Today, I've got the pleasure of talking with one of our senior agents. Actually, Matt, you've been around what now? Maybe 9 months, I guess. Maybe 10 months, right? You started like towards the end of February of this year.
Yes, sir. I believe that's correct.
There you go. Matt comes to us from an amazing background and experience. I believe at one time you even had your own agency or group of people that you were training. So what I want to do first is just kind of give you the floor, let you talk about yourself, who you are, where you've been, what's going on, and how you found us and how you ended up here. Fair enough?
Yeah, absolutely. So
All
I've
right,
uh,
good.
I've been in final expense for a long time. It's actually the only I want to say the real only real career that I've ever had. I went to college and then went and worked on a couple of advanced degrees postgraduate. And before I finished the last one, I started selling final expense and haven't looked back. And that was 20, I think it'll be 24 years coming up this
Wow.
spring.
Wow. Good for you.
Um,
God bless you.
yeah. So a lot of final expense, obviously, started out just in the field, direct mail, pounding on doors,
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
like everybody did at that time. Um, and a lot with that. And then when COVID hit, was kind of forced to go to the phones and tried to figure that out on my own for a little while. Took 3 years probably fighting through that on my own and the highs and
Bless you.
lows that come with it until I
Sure.
realized I needed a different plan.
Well, God bless you, man. Well, good. Well, we're really happy you found a home here, and you're on our flagship program, which is the paid lead and our top comp. So you got skin in the game, big guy. I mean, this is a real deal. It's not the free leads that a lot of people are out there on, which is no problem with that. I mean, it's just based on the individual preference. But you got skin in the game. And so what I want you to kind of enlighten me and us and whoever's watching this video about what is your opinion of the machine that we've built here at Final Expense Direct to put you in a position of success? I mean, because the theory is we're all sales guys, right? And we've built something for a sales guy. The leads, the CRM, the quote engine, our back office support team, training, just kind of talk about all those things that have helped you over the last 9 months get to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can just say that when I came to Final Expense Direct, I'd actually done my due diligence. I mean, months and months checking out multiple organizations before I pulled the trigger and decided Final Expense Direct was the one. And I came to the conclusion that it was the best overall option for somebody that wanted to get into final expense telesales. But even then, once I started, I was blown away at, and you call it a machine, and it's exactly that because it's a complete system that's been established. And I kind of knew that's what I was getting into. That's why I was going that direction. But then once I was actually inside, I was blown away on what exactly that entailed. First of all, incoming calls, to deal with nothing but incoming calls, not pounding any plastic yourself, is amazing. And that's really probably the biggest thing. Again, I was in the field selling for 16, 17 years. And the company line always at that time was, you can't do this over the phone. You can't sell final expense over the phone. That'll never
Sure.
work. And
Sure.
obviously, and that's not anybody that was telling lies. It's because their only experience was outbound calls. And even then, if we look back, 8 to 10 years ago, people picked up the phone way more then than they do now. But even then, it was a fight, to
Yep.
try to chase somebody down and get somebody. So first and foremost, the fact that you can sit in your chair and your phone is going to ring as many times as you want it to that day, and have somebody on the other end that has initiated the process, is probably the biggest game changer that there is, to deal with only incoming calls. And that's probably the thing that I was most blown away by, because even though I was told, hey, these are all incoming calls, I thought there'd be enormous wait time. I
Right.
thought you wait 15, 20, 30 minutes for the next call. Again, your phone will ring as many times as you want it to in a day. It's just a matter of you sitting there being engaged and being in the ready status so you can accept that phone call.
There you go. And then, and that's important too, because it's a mindset like anything else. How efficient you can be with your time right? So that you're not having to work 10, 12-hour days. You're not having to work on Saturdays and Sundays. You can compress it, right? As long as you've got the discipline and the mindset to handle the grind, it works, right? And the leads aren't the holy grail. They're never intended, there is no such thing, right? But what it is, I think, is that it gives you a constant flow that you can depend on, right? And you get to learn your metrics and you learn what it takes to get the conversions, to get the numbers to where you are to be, So that all put together is, I think, a very important thing, like you said, to help you succeed and get you where you want to be. How, as experienced as you are, as much tenure as you've had in the business, what do you think our training has helped you with, if anything at all, on how to handle that inbound call per se?
Yeah. So again, I've got a lot of final expense experience. I've ran an agency. I trained a lot of individuals myself. I've been through probably every company training that's out there. So again, coming in, I thought that I had been pretty thoroughly trained. Um, when I started the training process here, it was way above anything that I had ever expected. Because my definition in the past of training, not only what was provided to me, but also what I provided to other new agents bringing them on board, was really kind of more just on the product side and no true sales knowledge. But when I started the 2 week training that I went through here, I was blown away on the actual sales training, true sales methods that work. Being able to have meaningful, credible conversations with your clients when they call in, being able to ask second level and third level questions that truly make it to where the client is telling you what they need instead of you trying to push a product on them and tell them you need X, Y, and Z. That if you have the right conversations with people, when you get to that point, the client tells you, Matt, this is what I need. Can you please help me with it?
There you go.
So the sales training was, again, I was blown away. And not only, that 2 weeks is extremely valuable, but it's the ongoing training. It's having the managers, having the sales trainers grab you in the middle of a Tuesday and say, hey, Matt, I listened to your call that you did yesterday. And I just wanted to, obviously you made the sale, it went great, but that when Mrs. Betty went off track talking about this, you could have brought up these points and she would have been head over heels ready to buy your product. So it's not only the 2 weeks, it's ongoing of people constantly helping everybody trying to improve their process.
Well, good. I appreciate you saying that. And I think it's a struggle, right? To understand what the psychology of the buyer is, the senior, 60 to 80 years old. I always think about, from a marketing perspective, it's like, what do they do all day long? How do you motivate them to respond, right? And get them to a call to action so that you have an opportunity to do that, and learning how to conversate with people. True meaning, and stay off the darn scripts is critical. And I think we try. I don't say I think. I know we try to do that as best as we can, and it sounds like it's helped you. Which it's never too late for an old dog to learn new tricks, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah, absolutely. And and part of that, I guess, sales training, the sales process, like what we, all of us here at Final Expense Direct do in that first 2 to 3 minutes of the call. And I don't want to give away all the secret sauce.
There you go. There you go.
That process of the first 2 to 3 minutes of the call, when we really solidify and establish the credibility, and it's not just, hey, Miss Betty, I've been doing this for a long time. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. But the process that we go through to establish that credibility really eliminates a lot of the telesales obstacles that I know other agents face, because I was in that other agent's shoes and they weren't doing what we do. And, it's fighting an uphill battle of getting somebody to trust them on the telephone. But that whole process that's in place to establish credibility, make clients feel at ease, be able to actually show them what it is that you do and what you offer is enormous.
Good. Well, good. I appreciate that. Let me segue a little bit more to the machine that we talked about. In 9 months now of steady production, one of the things that we offer that's kind of unique is our back office case management system. Our customer service people, our retention people, conservation focus on helping you build and maintain that book of business. How has that affected you as someone who probably had to do it all on your own? How did that affect you?
Yeah, like that's huge. I mean, not only is it something that I always did on my own, I always felt that I had to do it on my own, that nobody else could do it the way I could, that nobody else would give it the attention, have the skin in the game with that, individual client as I did. And I've changed my tune on that. Like now that I've experienced that and I have a whole team of people, not only watching my cases go through, get issued, catching if there's any snags that I need to address, or if there happens to ever be an amendment or anything like that. We got a team working on that. But then on the customer service side, to now be able to just look at a report twice a day and see, hey, there was an NSF. Don't worry about it. We already contacted them. We got it set up to double draft next month. Or this draft didn't go through. I already contacted them. We drafted again. It's good to go. So it's amazing. And again, it's something I wasn't excited about. It was something that I was very resistant of letting somebody else handle what I consider
Sure.
my business. And it's very important to me. But now
Sure.
when I can get reports and see that these things have been done on my behalf and I didn't have to do them and I can stay on the phone visiting with new clients is phenomenal.
That's the theory. Put you in a situation of success where you do the best that you can do, which is sell, and let people that are skilled in the conservation customer service arena do what they do best, right? So the process of delegation to a certain extent as part of the benefit package that we offer an agent, I think it's a very unique opportunity, to strengthen that book of business, the as earned money, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months down the road, you got money coming in that could have gone just slipped through the fingers, right?
For
So,
sure.
looking at your numbers, I just made some notes as I'm looking away real quick, but you started off roughly in a 25,000 per month range. Then you hit a clip where you kicked it in and you started doing 32, 35, 38, 39, 32, 35, and you're on a pace right now with 2 weeks left of the year to hit right over $300,000 worth of premium in 9 months, big guy, 9 months. So the question is, what does it take right now? What is your opinion? If you're looking at some of the people that may be watching this video and say, what does it take to be a successful final expense agent here at Final Expense Direct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will address too, because I know that you send some marketing emails out and showed production numbers and stuff. And
Yeah,
I've seen other people like look at those numbers like, well, that's not real. There's no way somebody's doing that. And and we've got some guys, the Shannon and John and Javon and some guys that are phenomenal. And their
right.
numbers really are, if people don't understand what we do, they're hard to believe.
Sure.
But like the whole thing is those folks don't realize we have zero downtime. So your production is only limited by yourself, because if you want to be selling for 10 hours a day, you can be selling for 10 hours a day, not dealing with customer service, not driving to the next house, not dialing numbers, but truly selling for 10 hours a day. Well, now those numbers become much more
Real.
believable, right?
For
Like
real.
that's all those guys do is sit there and sell from one client to the next. And so they're able to do that number of volume. Yeah, I know for myself, like I said, I didn't start at the beginning of the year and had a death in my own family. So I stepped away for almost 5 weeks, I think, in July into August there. But I'll have no problem doing 500,000 next year for the calendar year of 2025. And again, the part that people have to understand is you can truly spend 10 hours a day selling and talking to new clients that called you, and then that's how those numbers are possible. And from a closing percentage, I think I'll push close to 25% on a close percentage.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and again, so when I was doing telesales on my own, I had somewhat of a connection to get inbound calls, but I was paying $50 and $75 a call for a television,
Wow.
you know? So, and I wasn't closing any better than what I do now. So the fixed costs here and I guess you can cut this out if you want. It's $27 a lead right now
That's
here
it.
on
I'm
December
okay with that.
19th, 2024.
There you go.
I know it could always change, but when I'm paying $27 for an incoming call now, and I was paying 50, 65, and $75,
Big difference.
it's couldn't be happier.
Day and night gives you a good, strong ROI, which I think is kind of segue to the next question because uh, everything you're talking about, how has your work-life balance, come together, so that you're not having to work 14-hour days or 6 or 7 days a week. How's that work-life balance helped you since you got here at Final Expense Direct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, so on the flagship side, we pay for our own leads. We got skin in the game. I've got three sons that are in a stage in their life, high school, moving into college. It's very important to me, and I don't miss anything. Like
There
I
you
don't
go.
miss anything that they do. I make sure I'm diligent in between those, and I get all the hours in that I need to do. But if we got to travel to an away football game on Friday night at 6 o'clock, then I make sure I can
Going.
get here in time to do that because I'm not gonna. I don't miss anything like that. So the work-life balance is great. Anybody can accommodate anything that they want to do in their life as long as they're disciplined in the other hours. As long as they do what they need to do in the other hours, they can definitely accommodate.
And I think that comes from maturity, and every now and then you'll find, someone that is understands that to the degree that you do, and it all kind of just falls together in one place. I heard you earlier. That was kind of my next question. I said, what was your goal for 2025? You said 500K. So God bless you, big guy. I have no doubt that you'll do it. And I appreciate your time today. As we close out, what would you say to somebody brand new that's watching this video and thinking about the process you went through? What would you say to them about joining Final Expense Direct?
Yeah, and I guess I probably have two different messages depending on where you're coming from. Like if you're a final expense agent already, um, there's no better way than telesales to be able to make a bigger impact on more people, talk to more people in a day, and in turn help yourself and your family than there is getting set up with an organization like Final Expense Direct that has a complete system in place that can take you from point A to Z, take you all the way to the end and have all your bases covered. And then if somebody's not selling final expense already, whether they're selling a different vertical or not even in an insurance sales, final expense is one of the simplest and easiest products to get involved in. So what we do on the phone is not easy. It takes a lot of work, but it's extremely simple. It's not doesn't take
Not rocket science, but you got to grind it out, right? You got to have discipline and you got to grind it out because that's the key, right? There's too many people that the stigma is a bad word, but the romance, right, of life insurance is that, oh, I can make 100 grand working 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that's not the reality, so you have to have some common sense as well, right? And so the discipline and the work ethic is part of it. So wonderful, big guy. I mean, thank you. I appreciate your time this morning. I know you're anxious to get on the phone, and the holidays are right around the corner. So God bless you and your family and your kids and the wife and everybody. And I appreciate you taking some time with me today.